you can show me, yeah. And that's what happens, and it's very difficult for me to hear that and to show this to you. I know what's going on. I went right back to work, and the mother in me took over because that's my priority, and it's my best reward in my life. My 3 kids that deserve to have their mom and my fans.
When you hear the name Celine Dion, your mind likely flashes to her iconic voice, powerful ballads, and unforgettable performance of My Heart Will Go On. But behind the 5-time Grammy winner, multi-platinum selling artist, and international superstar is another identity she had never revealed. An identity which exists in a private world, carefully shielded from public view. A world where love and bond matter more than any chart position or critical acclaim. For an artist who has shared so much of herself through music in an industry often consumed by fame and fast-paced headlines, Celine chose to protect her private life fiercely, shielding it from the limelight as much as possible, making it her most guarded melody while offering only glimpses. This world of hers has been shaped by personal challenges, triumphs, and unimaginable grief. It is filled with stories intertwined with a love so profound it defines everything, but also enduring. Today we will journey away from the electrifying performance and into the quieter corners of the superstar's world. This is the untold chapter of Celine Dion's story, where global fame meets the quiet power of unconditional bonds, the kind that inspires her most emotional performances, because some things are too precious to sing about.
Tell us. He's just very sensitive and smart, quick, and no, it's true. You're beautiful and you're passionate. We have the same dreams.
Celine Dion and René Angelil's love story wasn't just a headline romance. It was an epic that spanned decades, defined careers, and brought life to a family that would face both triumph and heartbreak. Their story began when Celine was only 12 years old. She sent a demo tape to René, who believed so strongly in her voice that he mortgaged his house to finance her first album. Years later, their professional partnership blossomed into a romantic relationship, and they eventually married in a lavish ceremony in 1994. But while their love was celebrated worldwide, their journey to parenthood was fraught with difficulty. Celine and René struggled with fertility issues, and it took years of IVF treatments before their dream of having children finally came true. In January 2001, after a long and emotional process, Celine gave birth to their first son. His arrival was met with global excitement, but for Celine and René, it was a deeply personal miracle. Still, they longed to expand their family. After more rounds of IVF and private struggles, Celine gave birth to twin boys in October 2010. This chapter in their lives, filled with hope and perseverance, remains one of the most inspiring parts of Celine Dion's story. It revealed her strength beyond the spotlight, a woman who would face any challenge to build the family she and René dreamed of. Little did she know then that the children she fought so hard for would later help her fight through her darkest days. René Charles Angelil was born on January 25, 2001, and from the moment he entered the world, he became the heartbeat of Celine Dion and René Angelil's lives. The couple had tried for years to conceive, so when their son arrived, it was a powerful moment not just for them, but for fans who had followed their journey. Celine once said his birth gave her a sense of peace like nothing else. As a child, René Charles, often called RC, lived a unique life, raised in fierce privacy. Celine and René were intentional about protecting their son's childhood, limiting media exposure and allowing him to grow up with as much normalcy as possible. Yet, as he grew older, glimpses of his personality and interests began to emerge, especially during public appearances at award shows and charity events alongside his mother. By his teenage years, RC had begun stepping into a spotlight of his own, but not in music right away. He had a passion for sports, especially ice hockey, and played for youth leagues in Las Vegas, where the family resided. His parents supported his interests fully, wanting him to explore life outside the shadow of Celine's fame. Eventually, however, music came calling. In 2018, under the alias Big Tip, René Charles released several tracks on SoundCloud that surprised fans with their confident delivery and mature sound. His debut project included songs like Catwalks, Sidewalks Remix, and The Apple, which showcased his interest in rap and hip-hop, a genre worlds apart from his mother's classic ballads, but evidence of a young man forging his own identity. Celine has spoken with pride and love about RC's musical pursuits, stating she supports whatever makes him happy. What stands out most is their close bond. After the death of René in 2016, RC became more than a son. He became a grounding force for Celine, someone she leaned on emotionally in those difficult years. Now in his early 20s, René Charles remains relatively low profile, choosing a life of selective visibility. Yet every time he steps out with Celine or posts a photo, fans are reminded of the deep connection between mother and son, and the way he carries both his parents' legacies with grace and strength. In October 2010, nearly a decade after the birth of René Charles, Celine Dion and René Angélil welcomed their twin sons, Nelson and Eddie. Born prematurely at 35 weeks, the twins were healthy and strong, a testament to the perseverance and hope that had defined Celine and René's journey through fertility treatments. The twins' names were chosen with deep meaning. Nelson was named after Nelson Mandela, whom Celine and René greatly admired for his strength and global impact. Eddie was named after Eddie Marnet, a French songwriter who was instrumental in launching Celine's early career and whom she considered like family. These names weren't just tributes, they were reflections of the values Celine and René wanted to pass down: compassion, resilience, creativity, and legacy. While Nelson and Eddie have largely been kept out of the public eye, Celine has occasionally shared photos and anecdotes that offer a peek into their personalities. According to her, Nelson is more outgoing and curious, always eager to explore and ask questions, while Eddie is a bit more reflective, thoughtful, and sensitive. This dynamic has helped shape a beautiful balance in their family. Two unique spirits growing together, yet walking different emotional paths. Celine has often shared that being a mother to twins was both joyful and exhausting. In interviews, she's spoken about the challenges of solo parenting after René's passing, especially with two young boys still learning the world. But through every difficulty, she emphasized that her children were her source of strength and purpose. "They are my reason to wake up each day," she said in one heartfelt interview. Despite their young age, Nelson and Eddie were visibly supportive during some of Celine's most vulnerable moments. From appearing in family portraits after René's death to staying close as she announced her stiff person syndrome diagnosis, the twins have already shown maturity and empathy well beyond their years. Celine has made it a point to protect their privacy, saying she wants them to decide their own futures without pressure. Whether they follow in her musical footsteps or take an entirely different route, one thing is clear: these two boys were born into love, resilience, and a legacy far greater than fame. Together with their older brother, René Charles, Nelson and Eddie represent the heart of Celine Dion's world, a trio of hope, healing, and enduring love. The death of René Angélil in January 2016 marked a turning point in her life. More than just a husband, René had been her manager, mentor, and soulmate, a presence woven into every aspect of her personal and professional journey. His passing after a long battle with throat cancer left a void that was both deeply personal and publicly felt. Celine, however, faced the loss with a mixture of grace, vulnerability, and a fierce sense of duty to her children. For Celine, coping with grief meant staying strong for René Charles, Nelson, and Eddie. In numerous interviews, she has described how her children became her guiding light. "I have to stand tall for them," she once said. Instead of retreating from the world, she leaned into motherhood with renewed focus, finding healing in routines, bedtime stories, and shared memories. Despite the sorrow, Celine kept performing. Just weeks after René's death, she returned to the stage in Las Vegas, delivering an emotional tribute to her late husband. While some questioned how she could perform so soon, Celine made it clear music was her therapy, and the stage was where she felt closest to René. Her children, particularly René Charles, played a crucial role during this time. He stood beside her at René's funeral, gave a heartfelt speech, and continued to support her at public events. The twins, though younger, were also a constant reminder of the love she and René had built. Through grief counseling, family time, and unwavering faith, Celine found a way to keep going. Loss changed her, but it didn't break her. Instead, it reshaped her into a more present, intentional mother, one who cherishes every moment with her boys as she builds a new life without Renee by her side. In late 2022, Celine Dion shared a heartbreaking update with her fans. She had been diagnosed with stiff person syndrome, SPS, a rare neurological disorder that affects the muscles and causes severe spasms. The revelation was both shocking and sobering, especially for an artist known for her powerful voice and commanding stage presence. For Celine, the diagnosis meant postponing tours, focusing on treatment, and navigating a new, uncertain reality. But through it all, one constant has remained: her children. Her sons, René Charles, Nelson, and Eddie, have been more than just bystanders. They've been her strength, her comfort, and her purpose. In her announcement, Celine tearfully spoke of how much she missed performing and how hard it was to explain her condition. But she emphasized that her kids had been incredibly supportive. "They're helping me, giving me hope," she shared. It's a reversal of roles in many ways. Once the caregiver, Celine now finds herself relying on the emotional presence of her boys. Whether it's keeping her company during treatment or simply being by her side at home, their quiet resilience has become a source of healing. They are, quite simply, her reason to fight. Despite being one of the most recognizable figures in the world, Celine Dion has fiercely guarded the privacy of her children. From carefully curated public appearances to rare interviews that only hint at their personal lives, she has drawn a firm line between celebrity and motherhood. Celine believes that her fame should not dictate her children's futures. She once explained that she wants her sons to live freely, without the weight of public expectations or media scrutiny. That's why you won't see Nelson and Eddie splashed across tabloids or social media. Even René Charles, though more public in recent years, maintains a limited online presence. This balance between visibility and protection is delicate, especially in a world where celebrity families are often treated as public property. Yet Celine has handled it with remarkable grace, giving fans just enough to feel connected, while keeping her family's private life sacred. Through her actions, Celine sends a clear message. Fame is not inheritance. Her children may have been born into stardom, but she's determined to give them the gift of a normal life, and the choice to decide when or if they want the spotlight. Looking ahead, the future of Celine Dion's family remains full of hope, even amid ongoing challenges. While her battle with stiff person syndrome has understandably altered the pace of her career, Celine continues to receive care and support, surrounded by her 3 sons. Public updates about her health remain limited, but close sources suggest she is focusing on recovery, rest, and spending quality time with her children. René Charles is exploring a potential career in music, following his mother's footsteps with subtle confidence. As for Nelson and Eddie, their journey is still unfolding, but with a solid foundation of love and family values. Celine has not ruled out a return to music or the stage, but for now, her priority is clear: healing and motherhood. What's certain is this: Celine Dion may be out of the spotlight for now, but her legacy continues to evolve through the lives of the 3 young men she's raising with unwavering strength and love. Celine Dion is far more than a legendary voice. She is a mother, a widow, a fighter, and a beacon of resilience. Her life has been filled with dizzying highs and unimaginable lows. Yet through it all, she has anchored herself in family. The story of Celine and her 3 sons, René Charles, Nelson, and Eddie, is not just one of celebrity or fame. It's a story of enduring love, sacrifice, and the powerful bond between a mother and her children. Even as the stages go dark and the spotlight dims to give space for healing, the world still watches. Not out of nosy curiosity, but with admiration. We see a woman navigating illness with transparency, leaning on her children while still protecting their innocence. We see boys growing into men under the quiet guidance of a mother who never stops giving, never stops loving. As fans, it's easy to be captivated by her talent, but perhaps the most profound part of Celine's journey isn't her music. It's the way she's raised her sons with such grace and determination. Their future, shaped by her strength and spirit, ensures that Celine Dion's true legacy will live far beyond the final note. If you have watched this point, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more in-depth stories on your favorite stars. Turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Click on the next video, you will enjoy it.